Punita, would you believe that a bull market is in progress? We have started, or we are in the midst of a bull market.
Yes, absolutely. I think we are in a bull market, and it's not just in India. I think what we are seeing in India is largely in line with what we are seeing globally. And so I think all economies, particularly I think the similarity is most with the US, where the markets have been in a rally for a few years, as they have been in India. And I think Indian economy is the difference between, say, US and India is that the US economy has already turned the corner, and the numbers coming out of the US GDP and earnings from companies are pretty good. They've already showing an improvement. In India, we still have to see that improvement. We haven't really seen a big turning point on the corporate side or on the GDP side. We've seen a little modest improvement. So I think that's the difference between India and some of the other markets. But definitely, I think this is a liquidity-driven rally that is helping many, many markets.
Nilesh, would you say that this is going to be a bull market, all things being as they are, as they stand now, which will be pretty extended? In other words, that it lasts for the next 3-4 years?
Well, it looks like. I think most bull markets typically last for periods as long as 5 to 7 years. That's been a typical cycle which Indian markets have always experienced. So if you really look at the markets, they make significant tops every 7 to 8 years, and every top is significantly higher than the previous one. And so I clearly believe that bull markets don't end with 6 months or 1 year or 1.5 years of up move. It's a market which goes on for quarters and for years. And what could make this bull market more special is the fact that maybe in the last 20-30 years, the kind of political mandate which this government has got, I think, is unprecedented in the last 30 years. And therefore, this bull market could probably be even more extended than the ones that we've seen in the last 10 or 20 years. So to that extent, I don't think this is a bull market which is going to be short-lived. It is going to be an extended bull market, which is something which is going to last for several years.
Thanks. Andrew, if you had a wish list, and I assume that you're in agreement with what Nilesh said, that we are in the midst of a fairly bull market that has legs and will go on. Assuming that that is the case, if you had a wish list and you could, go and tell Mr. Jaitley, this is what I'd like you to do, the 3 most important things in my view, which will make this sustainable, what would those 3 things be from the viewpoint of the equity markets?
I'm not sure I'd tell Mr. Jaitley the 3 things, but the 3 things that I think are happening, which I would point out to him, is that I do believe we're in the bull cycle, similar from 2003 to 2006-07. I think the difference this time around is it's not going to be a service-led growth economy. It's going to be a domestic-led economy, and that will be very powerful in terms of earnings. The second point, which I would tell him, would be that, for the first time, and I've been speaking to a lot of high-net-worth individuals, business people. For the first time in years, I've heard people say, it's a very powerful statement, is that I'm proud to be Indian again. And, I don't remember this in India, but I don't remember it till I go back to my days in the UK under Margaret Thatcher, when that belief and commitment to change was there. It's a very, very powerful statement. I think the third point I'd make is that, again, in meeting foreign companies here, the statement that they're making, which is very powerful, is that globally all eyes are on India. And all eyes are on India because they see it as being the engine of growth away from China. And that's a big difference from the 2003 to 2007. So if the GDP growth can grow from 5.5% to 7% over the next few years, we'll see operational gearing come into India. And the earnings story in India is just beginning. So those are the 3 things I would say to Mr. Jaitley, and please don't interfere.
Okay. Just to, if I could, just to sort of take that one step forward, and since you articulated these, and I think absolutely rightly so. What is it that the government can do to facilitate these trends that you identified, or is it all sort of in the hands of market-driven resource allocation? There's nothing, if the government just leaves things alone, it'll be perfect. Is that your view? Or is there things that the current government can do that will help to get full benefit or to catalyze these trends that you've identified?
So I think, we all know all the reforms that need to be implemented, and I think, after the recent reforms, we'd all be saying big bang reform should come. I think if the government can keep the momentum going, and it's just the momentum of reforms, it doesn't have to be big bang, it can be incremental, but the momentum of reforms going, this confidence both locally and globally will continue to fire the GDP growth for India.
Okay. Madhu, would you like to sort of take on that same discussion forward in terms of, if you had a wish list of things that you were, seeking or looking for the government to do, that you think would help to make this bull market more robust and more vibrant, what would those 2 or 3 things be? Would it be GST? Would it be...
I reaffirm again that, we are clearly, as the prices are indicating, and whatever our experience of last 20 years is,
right,
we are clearly, let's establish that we are clearly in a bull market. And markets have not even corrected 10% at one point since it made a bottom in August of 2013.
Correct.
Okay. So, and this is one of the characteristics of the market: participation, scarcity of stocks, people getting into the greed cycle and coming out of the fear cycle. These are characteristics which you look apart from valuation and stuff like that. Second, I think government can do a lot, and the hope is that they will do a lot. And in the initial signs which one has to read, that they are going very systematically about it. So I would be very nervous if Mr. Modi came and the 15th day there was a big bang announcement that we did this, we'll do this, we'll do this. I would be very nervous. I think, to my mind, the patient has gone into ICU. And when you come out of ICU, you don't put steroids and make him run. So you first examine what all has gone wrong, and then you systematically treat him. So I think last 3-5 years have been pretty bad. Let's accept it that, whether it is relating to policy or whether it is relating to enthusiasm or confidence, it's been very, very bad. So I think the first thing I would like to see from a market perspective, that we have roughly 10 lakh crore rupees which are blocked.
In projects?
In projects, which are, whether it is power sector, whether it is road sector, whether it is selective ports, whether it is mining.
Right.
So and that is clearly a factor of government confidence and the policies which will be made. Because once this money gets unlocked, then that's what will lead to incremental corporate profitability.
Right. And it also goes to Andrew's point about sort of, the self-belief, ensuring that people begin to believe, or they have the confidence that things are headed in a way that is positive.
Exactly. So this is one very important thing. Second, I think, we are, wherever there is huge potential in the industry, like, for God's sake, we don't need to import iron ore, which we are starting doing now.
Right.
So wherever there is a tremendous potential that India has, we would like to see very progressive policy, like what happened in coal. I think they're a fantastic job they've done. Neat, clean, ordinance has come, a coal auction is going to happen. So likewise, we would like to see a lot of policy measures in other sector in industries where India has latent potential, and we can, like in defense, the first step is being taken. But there is a lot which the government can do, and I hope will do, to ensure that our defense imports significantly goes down. So that will be the point.
So those are the sorts of things you do.
Exactly. So we will like to see things being done in a manner which will clear us. If this market has to sustain, then we have to believe that may not be in 2014-15, but on 15, 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, there is going to be at least 25% kind of earning growth in the broader indices, and that's what can propel the index to a much higher level.